Hello everyone, I deliver a case of wholesale takeover between Baona and Wank today, and mainly focus on its background and timeline. Next. In 2015, Baona started its takeover by purchasing Wank's share violently in stock markets. Next. Wank has its features to be targeted: high quality assets and goodwill, diversified share structure, and low stock price. Next. In 2015, takeover began. Wank reacted by suspension emergently at the end of the year. Next. In 2016, Wank introduced the Shenzhen Metro and Evergrande to slow down this takeover. Next. In 2017, the takeover was frustrated, but Wang Shi, the originator of Wank, had to leave. Next, my partner will talk about how hostile takeover affects corporate governance.
There is a hostile takeover could somehow affect the repeal the diversities on the corporate governance. Governance structures can alter the cost of a hostile takeover and hence affect the takeover price. One is changing the shareholding structure, two is changing the corporate policy, three is appropriate anti-hostile strategy in corporates. One the changes the shareholding structure, dual class stock. Dual class stock structure includes Class A and Class B shares. Class A offered to the public has little voting rights. Class B available to the founders has more power and can mainly control the company. To changing the corporate policy, pushing bill. The term pushing bill refers to defense strategy used by a target farmer to prevent or discourage a potential hostile takeover by acquiring company. Potential targets use this strategy in order to make the companies look less attractive to the potential acquirer. One that three summary. One is improve the article of incorporation to establish a reasonable shareholding structure like dual class shareholding and global operations. Three is market value management, making the company more valuable while cost. Welcome to next member group member.
Thanks for a brilliant demonstration. And now Tony and I will deliver the next part, which is compare and contrast how M&A activity performed in different economic downturn. Next. While every major economic crisis is unique, there are also some common characteristics that can be found. First, let me introduce the situation in 2008. What began in 2007 as a subprime mortgage crisis is due to aggressive investment in financial derivatives. Then it evolved into a financial crisis in 2008. Even Lehman Brothers filed for bankruptcy, then it acquired by other companies. Next. The source of crisis was the financial sector, but credit crunch and market deterioration impact many other sectors. It reflected on asset value, house prices, and customer confidence. Next. In 2007, global M&A market reached the peak point, which was up to $4.55 trillion in a decade. Global merger volume dropped by almost a third in 2008, ending the 5th year of deal growth as a lack of available credit, flogging stock markets, and a worldwide financial crisis undermined the company's ability to make acquisitions. Next. By 2008, no matter domestic or cross-border acquisition, smaller companies were frozen, and only a few large companies made their opportunistic acquisitions for consolidation and gain new markets by acquiring with their core industries. For example, like InBev, Bank of America, and Roche Holdings Switzerland. So that's how M&A activity performed in 2008. Here now is Tongyu to talk about the M&A activity during COVID-19.
Thanks for Yitong, and now it's my turn to introduce the M&A activity under the COVID-19. Next, we all know that the COVID-19 has caused rising deaths and a global recession. This crisis caused majority of countries to fall into negative growth. Next. The COVID-19 has also greatly affected the situation of M&A transactions. Next. And how does the COVID-19 affect mergers and acquisitions? The pandemic has led to stricter policies on M&A by regulators in various countries. At the same time, the company's production and operation were affected. The stock price fell. The buyers need to reevaluate the value of the company. The third point is that the pandemic has made on-site due diligence difficult and not conducive to M&A transactions. From the perspective of corporate, many companies have introduced relevant policies to prevent hostile takeovers. All these factors lead to the decline in the number of M&A transactions. Next. From this chart, we can see that the COVID-19 in 2020 led to a decline in the number of M&A transactions. But a year later, the number of M&A transactions number rebounded. Next. So what is the similarity, some potential difference between these two prices? We look at the similarities in terms of economic environment, stock price, and corporate behavior. We found that both crises caused external macroeconomic changes affected the M&A, and downturn in stock prices led to rise in hostile takeovers. In a crisis situations, companies really avoid big changes and focus more on the survival in the short term. Next. And the difference are mainly concentrated in the four aspects: background, scope, factor, and impact circle. The change in the number of M&A in 2020 is mainly due to the impact of global epidemic. On-site diligence were limited. Most industries were affected by the COVID-19. And because the epidemic continues, the impact circle is longer than the financial crisis. Next. So our conclusion is.
Yes, let's give us a conclusion. In a typical M&A circle, deal volume and the value initially declined with the economic downturn, and it often promoted by other events. But this time, however the economic recovers, it entirely depends on the pandemic, which is unknown. And let's welcome our next group member.
Next. Our group thinks that gender diversity can affect M&A in different ways, and we will share 3 articles to support our idea. Next. In the first article, the process of M&A can be divided into these 3 stages. The authors believe that gender diversity has a positive effect on the selection stage and a negative effect on the integration stage. Next. In selection stage, decisions are influenced by members' ability to scan the environment, networks, resources, and risk propensity. And different TMT has a larger resource base and stronger information processing ability, which is conducive to identifying potential targets. TMT gender diversity also suggests a larger network pool. In particular, women's network include both gendered groups and women-specific networks to access resources. And in addition, females are more cautious about risk. It leads to different valuation of risk potential, which can improve the quality of decisions. Next. From the result of OLS regression model, we can find that the coefficient of gender diversity is positive and significant, thus supporting the hypothesis 1. Next. In the integration stage, members need purposeful actions and clear decisions. It requires the control of time. Gender diversity is more likely to lead to decentralization. It will increase decision-making time. Conflicting views and debates in the team can cause disruptions in the process, which leads to slower decision being made. Next. Therefore, we have the hypothesis 2. Gender diversity has negative effect in integration stage. In model 4, we can find that the coefficient of gender diversity was negative and significant, which proved the hypothesis 2. And then let's welcome my partner.
According to the paper of Director Gender and M&A shows that using close to 20,000 firm-year observations for the period 1997 to 2009, we got hypothesis 1 and 2. Companies with more women directors are less quantitative than those with fewer women directors. Next. The associations we find between director gender and M&A in addition, and between director gender and bid premium are both consistent with the relatively low overconfidence of bidder female directors in a currency of takeover estimates and the expected value of takeovers. Next. The panel A can explain the bid in addition is negative influence with the female director's number of fraction is minus 0.79. Next. Similarly, the number can expand negative association with the bid premium is minus 0.54. Next. The next paper, the reason why hypothesis 1 can be got is female directors increase board attendance and have better communication skills and make more informed decisions, which helps them provide better control for organizational management and monetary CEOs more effectively than their male. The hypothesis 2, we further find a large negative sign of the interaction term between BGD and M&A variables. Next. Higher number of M&A deals turns to reduce positive impact of gender diversity on dividend payouts. In conclusion, whatever female brings positive or negative influence, the boardroom gender diversity affects M&A. That's all. Thank you for your listening.